Hello, next up on the podcast macabre horror movie challenge or whatever it's called. It's to watch an animated Scooby-Doo movie, and so I watched the most famous animated Scooby-Doo movie, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. I watched this very young, and so I wanted to rewatch it. This is a direct-to-video movie. Why does it animate so well? Why is it so smooth? It's so dynamic. I know a bunch of Japanese anime studios worked on this as well, but I'm just shocked that this wasn't a theatrical movie with how much effort is thrown into it. The 1990s in particular with television animation, there are just times where like, wow, you are putting in so much effort in this television animation that just does not happen nowadays, you know? It doesn't even happen with anime anymore except with like Demon Slayer. Anime has this too. 90s anime just looks really good for some reason, and that's the type of quality that I'm reminded of when I watch Scooby-Doo and the Zombie Island, and just how uh like the transformation sequences in this, it's really fucking beautiful, and just I love the vibe of it, the colors. Like it strikes it goes for a more realistic tone, like the advertising. This time the monsters are real, and like that's not anything really special. Ever since Scooby Doo, there has been little episodes, little specials where the ghosts were real, but yeah, okay, whatever. But this is for the grown-ups, whatever. And I just loved that vibe so much, and it feels very 90s, and this is the most damning example of Scooby Doo, despite the whole 1960s of it with the fashion and the dialogue, the fact that this feels so 90s and the current ones feel so modern, it just goes to show how much of a timeless IP Scooby Doo of all things is. Like Scooby Doo is unescapable, it's reaching heights of Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny and Popeye and stuff like that. And so yeah, and I guess a short recap: Scooby Doo on the Zombie Island takes place after the initial Mystery Incorporated has split up, and they come back together for this case in uh, the Cajun Islands off Louisiana because um, supposedly there are some actual ghosts, and that's what they're looking for, actual ghosts. And so yeah, they stumble into zombies and cat people and all sorts of things, and it's a really really wild ride. It is, you cannot ask for anything more with Scooby-Doo. This is Scooby-Doo at its best, at its most beautifully animated. I don't think a Scooby-Doo anything has ever looked as good as this, has ever had a vibe as good as this, and it is the soundtrack is amazing. I love like Scooby Doo in the 60s. We're playing 60s tunes, and it was going on until the 90s, and then in the 2000s. And I just wish they will never. Uh, I don't know actually. I'm struggling to think if current day they've been playing very 2010s and 2020 sounding music. I can't recall. I feel like they stopped around the mid 2000s, which is a great place to stop. And I wish Scooby Doo. Everyone has their own image of Scooby Doo because of how long it is, and my image of Scooby Doo always has a soundtrack like this. It always sounds like this. There's always some alternate rock band, and so I just wish that's just how it's gonna be moving forward. And yeah, Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, you can't go wrong with this. It's pretty good.